SML, the Brodown, Field General 007, Prime Time 000. And if you just were like me and finished first and goal, outside of DW, absolutely shitting on some of the marquee players in this league, Fins, you should be very upset. You're a great player. I don't know who else. Let me hang on. I got to check DW's schedule. I don't remember who he's played, but I want to shout at these guys. I want to make sure that they feel okay because DW thinks he's God Almighty now that he's got a Blue Yeti microphone. The Panthers. Who's the Panthers owner, Prime?
Woods.
Woods. He shit on Woods, and a Hall of Famer. And well, all right. Sherm probably deserved it. When you lose 31-3, you probably deserved it. You're 0-4. I'm sorry. Whatever DW had to say about Sherm was accurate. And then, Fens, he's a great guy. Eh? Anyway, if you watch that, Prime had a little aside at the beginning of it where he talked about an eval for scheduling. And I was like, whoa. We're throwing this thing in about scheduling. I just want to clarify it. I doubt that this is the case, but there might be some questions. I did have a little concern. If it's eval points for scheduling, is it if your games are routinely the last game played, is that going to cost you points even though, sometimes people's schedules just don't match up? Or is it for people that are the last game played and they're not doing a good job of scheduling?
Yeah, so I guess to rewind a little bit, we've already been doing evals for scheduling.
Right.
And I think the goal with all I'm doing now is putting numbers to it. And I think it's important with evals to be a little more objective in places that we can be, meaning that we present facts. So when you come at somebody with a lower score, you can say, hey, this isn't just what I feel, this is what you did. And so obviously just some things we're marking down, obviously the amount of owners who have the last game, did they give a time or when did they give that time? And how far were they the last game by? Was it by 15 minutes or were they like a day and a half past everybody? Obviously, there's going to be times where a guy or two here and there, they're going to be the last game. It happens literally every week. But if there's somebody who's doing this literally more often than not by far, then that's when it's going to be something where we look into it and we're like, okay, how can we help this situation? Is this guy is he not looking at that video, which is, it's a stupid video, but it's
right.
It's good tips or what's happening here. All we're trying to do is fix that and help people be more proactive.
So I'm proactive, but sometimes just people's work schedules, like, DW, for instance, we can't play our game until Monday night, and I try to play it all weekend. So that's really no fault of anybody's, it's just work, and that's what the advanced schedule is for. And
Right.
the other thing, in terms of accountability, how do you go about that? Because are you going to go around and poll everyone about how DW is scheduled all cycle long or all season long? Or how exactly are you going to accurately track if a guy outside of him which is not even the appropriate way of scheduling a game, if he commented in the chat to schedule his game?
Yeah, so obviously, if there's a guy who comments or is the last game, let's say 5 times, then you can go back and do some research on your own. I can message his opponents, a few of his opponents from those 5 games where he was the last game, and see what the communication was like. There's no way how I'm going to be able to do that for all 32 guys. It would just be way too much work. But if there's somebody who's a repeat offender, then it's pretty easy to be like, oh, okay, week 13, week 12, week 8, he did this, week 5, he did this. Then I can go back, I can get the messages pretty easily. But we'll see how it goes. Obviously, there's an advanced schedule for a reason. And if a guy's out there tagging, and we even have a column here that says, was there a time given ahead of time? If they set a time ahead of time and they were being proactive and that's just how the schedule's worked out, that's fine. But if there was no time and it was just like, okay, oh crap, it's Tuesday night, it's time to play. Well,
Right.
Looks like we better play. That's when it's a problem.
What do you think, since we're moved to the almighty Discord, about adding like a scheduling tab where people just post like the scheduled game times in there?
Yeah, from what I've talked to guys in private about that, and I was told about half the guys use that. I'm sure your bombers are going to use it. You have Mike Effin.
Half the people are using it. At least then it's instead of you having to go back and look or message people. You can already see it because like you missed when you posted the thing yesterday or today, whenever it was. You posted a list of games that were still to be played, and as soon as we advanced yesterday, I already had a game time and it was posted in chat. And you still missed my time. So,
Yeah.
well, I think it'd be a useful tool, even if not everybody used it. And maybe that becomes part of their scheduling points is that they posted their schedule time in the scheduling tab.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. It's something we can definitely look into. I think that what I've tried to do with Discord is be slow to add stuff. I know people want to trade block channel. We'll add one, a scheduling one, something like what you mentioned is possible. I like to go slow about things and not make emotional decisions to add channels because I've seen screenshots of some leagues with literally 60 channels that are super redundant, and I would rather just be, hey, we're on Discord now. We've got a few channels. I've said it from the start. We're going to be slow to do it. People must not have believed me or something, but I just want to make sure that we have a legitimate reason and a legitimate plan for every channel. For example, I added an articles channel. I'm probably going to combine that and YouTube just because it's
Right.
it's
It's all
content.
content.
And that's where I want to be careful with having multiple channels and keeping things concise. But yeah, I mean, your idea is a good one. It's something we can definitely look into. Um, but yeah, I just want to be slow to add stuff and have a reason and a plan for each channel we add.
All right. I think I've beat the dead horse enough to get the glue out of it. Outside of Bomber just needs to take a step back on bitching about people wanting his early advance 2 hours after he advanced. He's just going to have to deal with it. We don't all work from home, Bomber. So I'm sorry. Some of us have to
I
wait
think
till Monday night to play.
he's been better about it this year. Last year he was
God, the
he
dude
was
just
like
he needs to get with QP and smoke a blunt and chill, bro.
he was letting people have it last year. It was
Yeah,
funny,
Coop,
but
send him a care
he's mellowing
package.
out. He's
All right,
mellowed out, I think.
all right. We're moving on past that, changing gears, all that good stuff. I want to talk about some nitty gritty Madden stuff, Bob. I want to talk about
Mhm.
The Madden football, Madden 22. Don't know if you've played it yet, if you've heard
A
about
little
it.
bit,
Okay,
not as much as Dan.
no, okay. Now I gotta go to the Dan thing because poor Dan. You know he's getting shit on in the game and then shit on in chat, shit on in the first and goal. I mean, you guys were just brutal. That poor bastard. Like everywhere I look, Dan is just getting rightfully so, I guess. You know the
Yeah.
guy. Perennial winner. He's easy to take shots on because not only does he win a lot, he's a very holy man. You know, so that's always interesting to poke fun and poke holes at. He's
He talks his trash. He
he
enjoys.
talks his trash. And that's what makes it entertaining because he'll go on the shows with you, and you guys have turned. Which your rivalry is not an unhealthy one. And that's what's getting into this topic. I was going to talk about rivalries. So first, let's talk about you and Dan. You and Dan had a very good rivalry. Dan talked trash. You would talk it up, and then Dan's like, "Oh, hey, man, you run your mouth a lot, and you haven't really done so. I only lost by 3 points, and actually, Prime." I don't know where I was going with that Dan point, but normally he'd ramble on about something and not really have a whole much of a point
Yeah,
outside of this
because he would
time it's
lose
going to
every time,
change.
and
You
it never
meddling
changed.
kids, come on, Scooby. But
Yes. It was a healthy, just to comment
it
on
was
that.
good. The
I think
games were good.
we have respect for each other,
Yeah,
and I think that that's something
but
that's important. I wouldn't actually get mad at him. I would just want to beat him, and I would make sure I did it every time.
were the was the off the field stuff because I know that you like to. I think Graham's put it. I'm trying to think the fancy word that he used a long time ago. It may come to be later. Um,
Hmm.
but basically that you're a little dramatic. I forget the word that he used, but
Yeah.
anyway, you like to exaggerate things just for the fluff of it because you know good press is no press is good press, but blah 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 blah. You know you like to
Yeah.
really make it more than what it is. And is that what
Hmm.
happened with the Dan trash talk? Did you guys kind of talk about it before you went into the recordings, or you just
Oh
enjoyed
no.
pushing his buttons that much that it was
I
legit?
I enjoyed it because I could tell Dan would actually get worked up.
Yeah,
Like
he did. It
he
seemed
wasn't
legit.
actually he wasn't actually like
Pissed.
how should I say it? He doesn't like hate me, but I could tell like
It
it
annoys
would
him.
I was like a little thorn because he
Ooh,
couldn't beat me,
getting
and
up in there.
he plays a lot, and he's good at the game, and he should have beat me, and he hasn't really. And so yeah, I like to talk a little trash, and there's certain guys who are kind of unflappable with the trash talk. Like I could talk trash to October, and then he just thinks I'm dumb, and
Yeah,
that's
you are.
fine. And I am, the stuff I say is dumb. But there's some people who it actually like kind of gets them going, and Dan's one of those guys, and he's always out to prove that the prime's wrong, and it plays into my hand perfect.
So the flip side of that was the other rivalry I mentioned, the meets and dump. That was kind of a toxic. That was like the
Yeah,
boy girl relationship where they should not get back together, but she keeps going back to him, and it just never ends well. Now,
yeah.
the whole point about talking about these old rivalries, where do you think are going to be the next rivalry? For one, will you and Dan, are you going to be able to rekindle this? Because that should be a good one if Dan can start winning some games. You're in the same division. Can you and Dan light the fire underneath that rivalry, or will there be some new ones? And who will be the new ones or new one? That'll be something to
Yeah.
watch for.
No, that's a good question. I think that I don't really see me and Dan having a rivalry like that this
Ooh,
year. Part of the reason because I don't feel like hyping up our games as much.
because he's in a
I think
division now. They mean something twice a year.
well, I did that with Bomber though. Like I hyped up our games in those games, but 2 years in a row, like I kind of get bored of it.
Okay.
I think that Faz and me could be something.
Yeah.
I think that Faz and Bomber could be something. Um, and I'd like to see what RD can do. The problem with RD is he's not much of a showman, and you need two showmen for a good healthy rivalry. Not people who just get emotional. Like you need guys who can like you mentioned rivalries that go sideways because their emotions get into it.
Right.
You need guys who are showmen, and I think that Faz can be. I think that Bomber can be. And Dan is a good showman. And by the way, I think Dan's going to get a turnaround. You don't have 150 hours in the game right now and not be able to turn around. He plays a lot. He's going to get it fixed. I think him and maybe him and Bomber, maybe a little bushwhacker battle. That could be a good one.
That'd be an interesting rivalry. I can't really think of any that I'm really. The divisions aren't quite stacked up like they were last year. Um,
AFC's loaded.
the teams are loaded, but in terms of personalities being stuck like in the divisions together, I don't really see that. Like the only rivalry that I think could be good would be like a potential. It's a Meats and Faz. That one
Yeah.
could be interesting to watch.
If
I
Meats can beat him.
if Meats if it, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Meats is like the little brother that just can never get the cookies or never get the remote. He's just
Yeah.
he's reaching, but he can't get there. And I think that'd be an interesting one if he can at least compete or win one here and there. I think that could potentially be a decent rivalry. And
Yeah, I would. I
that
would.
might be
I'd
it for
like to
me.
get one. I'd like to get one going with RD. He was talking quite a bit of game before the cycle started,
Yeah.
particularly before I took the Chiefs, and how he was going to follow me and how he was going to take Houston. So I really hope that becomes something.
So what's your favorite part of Madden 22 and your least favorite? And then out of your least favorite, is it something that absolutely needs to be changed?
Yeah, I think that my favorite part is probably the fact that momentum is a thing and it's
Sure.
reflected in the game and EA didn't have crack. I mean some of the don't get me wrong, some of the momentum things are dumb and they're kind of like okay, like you really didn't
Hmm.
have to add this, but they added it to the game and they actually did a bunch of different stuff, which is pretty cool. Like they put thought into it. Like
Yeah.
I think that was good. Something that my least favorite thing is defense, just because so many people use that as their out this year, and they say
That's
that the
my out.
the defense sucks. But the thing is, like they're also playing against a bad defense. That
Yeah.
means and
Yeah.
and that means like that means your offense is going against this broken defense.
Yeah,
So you
no, yeah, and I agree. Like the guys who just want to say that because they're specifically losing because of the defense. That's not why I'm losing. You can still win the game. Like when you're playing against, it is a broken defense, and I think if you're going to
yeah
be in denial about defense being broken, it's an incredibly ignorant bomber thing to say about that. It's like saying that the running game wasn't overpowered last year or broken to an extent. It's broken to an extent. There's a lot of concepts that are broken. They took the turd out of the toilet and they tried to polish it, and it's fallen apart again, like they always do with these updates. But my thing is, it's not something that's so detrimental that you can't win the game because everybody has the same opportunities. The only thing I would like to see, if EA can't fix it, there's another point I was going to ask about the possibility of doing defensive coverage tuned by sliders. I think
yeah
that may be something that needs to be visited. Maybe wait until after the season's over or get the second season in and see what the state of the game is. But I think that it's something that needs to be to be addressed, and that could be addressed in a positive way by adjusting the sliders.
Yeah, we used to.
Yeah,
You know this. I mean, we used to
yeah,
do it, and I think that that's an option. Again, it's something where EA said they're working on it.
right.
So before we like you said, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what they do. Obviously, you can get in a debate about whether or not EA is actually going to fix it, but something's going to change, better or worse.
Hmm.
And we want to be slow to it. I know there's some guys who have said they were an all pro league for 10 years and they've switched to all Madden because of defense before these patches even came out, which a little surprising to me. We wouldn't make that big of a jump. But yeah, I think sliders are on the table. And the beauty about that is if the game wasn't quote unquote fixed, there's plenty of guys who have tested things on Operation Sports already. And like there's a lot of outlets nowadays where guys have done testing and we can use that as a template and start to work our way around it. But before we got into that conversation, we'd obviously see what EA does.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see because, as we know, EA always does what they say that they are going to do and are working on, like the title update coming out, or not the title update, the scouting update. But anyway,
Yes, yes,
we'll
yes.
move on past that. We don't want to upset anybody out there. Let's talk about you. The golden boy, the person, the
Yes.
guest of honor. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about the Chiefs. I almost said the Colts. I almost fucked it up.
Yeah.
You're the
Depressing.
Chiefs. You're what, 3 or 4 games in now to being the
Yeah.
Chiefs. You've got the number 5 offense, 33 points per game. Second in yards, 366. First in passing yards, 294. 24th with the run with 71. And your defense is 31st, allowing 341 yards. Bend but don't break, though, because you're only allowing 22 points. That's 10th best in the league. So let's talk about a couple things. First, obviously you mentioned that, Madden's getting stale. A lot of people agree with that. It's the same game over and over and over. They act like it's something new. You start playing it, and by the time that you played it a little bit, you realize, hey, I can kind of do the same things that were working before, these type of checkdowns, the running game. You just kind of settle back in, and after, a couple months of game updates, it really becomes the same thing. So, just like you said, just getting stale, maybe being the Colts a little too long, trying to see if this will light the fire inside you. Do you
Mhm.
think so far that this has made the game more interesting for you, or do you regret not being the Colts?
Yeah, it's been fun actually. There's been a few times where I posted things in chat and I want to call myself the Colts, but overall, I haven't missed it at all,
Hmm.
and it's been a nice refresher. And I think part of it is because I took a fun team to use.
Sure.
Obviously, you can make any throw you want with Mahomes, and I like passing the ball more than anything. And I've made it a point this year. Yeah, I don't really need to run the ball. So if I can drop back and throw it for 300 yards a game and win, then that's what I'm going to do with the Chiefs.
Um, I noticed that you picked up Adrian Peterson. What are kind of some of your roster plans as you build this Chiefs team?
Yeah, so I picked up Peterson. That was just again just to have fun. I don't know how much of a contributor he's going to be, but obviously you got Mahomes. You've got I traded for the fastest running back in the game, Raheem Mostert. I think is how you pronounce his
Hmm.
last name. 97 speed. So I think the goal really is just to have just the fastest offense, just the biggest arm quarterback, and just freaking sling it this year. And that's what I got. My defense completely sucks. Um, so yeah, I've traded for a lot of mid-round draft picks, and I'm hoping I'm just gonna just completely retool the defense, just draft young. I think just the best way to build the defense is through the draft, just slowly but surely. You get your stars. Kind of remember how Bomber did last year. He
Yeah.
had some young guys he devved up, but he drafted some studs. In the last like season 6 through 8, or however many seasons we played, 5 through 8, he I mean, that defense was stupid. He had Street, he had I can't even name all the guys, but I mean, that's kind of what I want to mimic. Obviously, this defense will probably never get to that point, but kind of that building through the draft on defense is kind of what I'm looking to do.
We're right at the nearing the 20-minute mark. I got one last bonus question I want to ask you, and maybe I'm off base here. Who won the last Super Bowl of Madden 21?
It was Faz.
Faz won the last one?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay. The banners are up to date then. I was going to poke a hole at me because I thought you were the last Simbadi winner. But
No, did somebody update the banners?
No.
No, those banners aren't updated. I have another banner, and Faz is one after that. We both have two.
Oh yeah, okay. They
Me,
are they
Meats
are
did,
out of date then. Meats.
Meats didn't update. He never
No, he
updates them right
never
after
he
I
never
win.
updated it,
Yeah,
and now he don't like
whenever,
Faz either. So he's
yeah.
disappeared. He's number one for all of his little Photoshop things, but he can't put his little
Yeah,
banner
when
on there.
I remember, I forget what happened. I lost to somebody in a Super Bowl the first year. I think it was the time I lost to Faz, and within like five
It was
minutes, I
up.
mean, he sent me. He's like, "Yep, can you upload?" I was like, "All right." But no, man, Meats is funny. He kills me. I'm sure he'll get the banners hung up and hopefully before next Super Bowl.
You know, I don't know if you got enough video. I don't want to keep going on this too long, but if you had enough video to do like some type of missing ring saga, or not even saga, but like an episode just talking about the missing rings that you've had, that'd be kind of I think, a neat prime time
It would be fun.
000 Productions. But also rehashing all that's a little depressing too. So you may
Yeah,
not want to
there's
relive the disappointment.
yeah. Yeah, just about every Super Bowl I've lost, I've had one play that I can kind of get emotional about. The fast stop and go,
Yeah,
the missed field
yeah,
goal against Jonesy. I mean,
yeah.
it gets dark quick.
Memories. All right,
Yeah,
we're
man.
gonna wrap this up, guys. Something that a lot of men need to learn how to do in the United States. But
Hmm.
Prime, you got any closing thoughts?
No, man, I'm excited. We're a quarter way through season one already. I play Faz now. It'll be a good game. And Dan, sorry that you've been the punching bag lately.
Yeah,
I'm
poor
sure that'll
Dan.
change. I'm sure that'll change soon, though.
Dan, I hope they all burn in hell for the things to say about you, buddy. Way to get you back on the Simbody, the Field General podcast here. Anyway, check us out, simmadleague.com, daddyleagues.com/SML. I think there's always probably a spot open on the primer if somebody's looking to get in. But
Yeah.
appreciate you guys tuning in. Good luck this season, boys. The hunt for the Simbody is on. I guarantee a win against DW tomorrow night because he was
Uh,
talking shit about us, underrated players, and I'm just going to get it done. Like, subscribe, take care. Have a great day.
uh,